Hey everyone, Wyduck here again, this time on Whirlwind. And spawning in the top left as the red Zerg. Well, you know who we've got. We've got the famous or infamous Idra. And his opponent spawning in the top right as the blue Protoss. We've got Raistlin. Now, one thing to take note of is the fact that most of the replays with Idra that are uploaded onto the internet are not uploaded by Idra himself. They're actually usually uploaded by the opponent. And as such, you know, generally players like to showcase games that they win, not ones that they lose, especially against players like Idra that have such bad manner, according to most players. So I'm more than confident that the winner of this game is going to be Raistlin. I'm 99% confident Idra is not going to be the winner of this exchange. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll have to see. But I'm pretty confident Idra is going to lose. And maybe we'll see one of those blow-ups again. Because that's basically what people want to watch Idra for, is those blow-ups. Not necessarily the great plays. I mean, those do come as well. But I think the blow-ups are a lot more interesting. So we do have Idra moving out with a drone. He's going to be plopping down a hatchery at his natural. Now, Raistlin is halfway done with his gateway. Nothing special coming out of Raistlin. We do have an assimilator plopped down as well as the second pylon, very close to his nexus. Now, in a lot of games with Idra in the past that I've casted, Idra ended up getting rushed down, and so he lost the game very, very quickly. Oh no, I've lost my battle.net connection. How will that affect this replay? Oh no, achievement service has been restored. I've been connected back to battle.net because that's most important when you're casting replays. But anyways, Idra usually gets rushed down in those previous replays, so we'll have to see what's going to happen here. Now, Raistlin doesn't seem to be playing any sort of proxy or rushing build. So, Idra should be safe for the meanwhile. The spawning pool is almost complete, and he does have the extractor up with 3 drones in it currently. Now, unfortunately for Idra, his overlord did go to the wrong location. And so it's going to be a while longer before Idra is able to detect where Raistlin has spawned. Now, Raistlin is building that first zealot. Very interesting. That first zealot is going to be coming out very soon. Actually, the second zealot, excuse me. The first zealot is also going to be scouting. This is interesting. Generally, you might want to send probes out because probes are faster. And Raistlin is also going to not find Idra as well. So both players guessing wrong for where their opponent has spawned. So Idra should be able to find Raistlin's position before Raistlin is able to find his. Now we do have queens coming out as well as speed for the Zerglings. I think it's very important for Zerg players to get that map control early on. And 2 Zerglings are going to be darting across the map. They're going to be going to Raistlin's natural. The Nexus has been put down, and the Zerglings are going to be able to spot it immediately. The Mothership Core has been recalled to move back and try and defend this probe. Idra's Zerglings are getting attacked from the sky. They cannot fight back, so it looks like this pair of Zerglings is just going to move into the main base, do some scouting. Now that sentry is also going to add some additional firepower in conjunction with that Mothership Core, but the Zerglings are still running around the main base of Raistlin, and the Zerglings are regenerating over time. Now, at the same time, Idra is actually grabbing his 3rd hatchery, and this is the 5.5 minute mark, so we're going to have 3 hatcheries out, but it looks like these 2 Zealots plus the Mothership Core are going to be able to find it very quickly here. They're on a collision course, and if they start chopping away at this hatchery, I think it's going to be very difficult for Idra to defend this. Now, the one thing that Idra does have going for him is that Zergling speed is almost finished. There we go. Zergling speed is now finished. If he's able to get some Zerglings out, he might be able to defend this 3rd hatchery. Because if this 3rd hatchery goes down, this will be a big blow to our Zerg player's strategy. And it's already halfway killed now. The Mothership Core and Zealots are still working away at it, chopping away and shooting. And the Queens, unfortunately, are so slow off a creep. They're trying to get to that 3rd hatchery. And I don't think Idra is going to be able to defend it in time. The Zerglings have finally arrived. There's only 100 life left on this hatchery. And no, the hatchery will not survive. The 2 zealots will go down, but that's not much of reconciliation for Idra. At least he's going to be able to put down some creep tumors in this position here. And maybe able to spread the creep out more aggressively. He is going to put down that 3rd hatchery once again, but that is a big loss for Idra if you take a look at resources lost. But the resources lost don't tell the full story. It's a big loss simply because you're losing that hatchery, and it was complete. And you're going to lose all that larvae and the ability to mine more gas. And the tempo of the game has totally swung into Raistlin's favor. And Raistlin has heavily defended his natural with 2 gateways, 5 sentries, and a photon cannon. So Zerglings are not going to be able to cut it. So Idra's going to have to figure out what to do from this point forward. He's going to have to build some roaches or Hydralisks if he wants to break down this wall. Now, we do have Raistlin moving across the map with the 5 sentries. This is interesting. Generally, we don't see compositions of just sentries. But all the 5 sentries are able to cast some very good force fields down. The Zerglings are caught out of position, and all the Zerglings will fall. So Idra losing quite a few Zerglings. So this matchup is not really doing wonders for Idra. And now with that Dark Shrine halfway complete, and Idra hasn't spotted it yet either. I think his scouting has been very limited. We do have an Overlord in between the main and the natural, but the Overlord is not heading towards the Dark Shrine. So that Dark Shrine is going to be able to finish. Now, Idra does have a macro hatch at his 3rd base. Unfortunately, these 3 zealots are there as well, and the drones are going to take a lot of damage. You do have a few Zerglings and the Queens rushing in here to try to do some significant damage, trying to get rid of these zealots. The zealots are actually on hold position. Interesting. And once again, there's something wrong with my internet, but that doesn't matter. Stop notifying me. And Idra is able to defend against that mini attack, but we still have the Dark Templars moving up across the map. We do have this proxy pylon right over here that Idra has not detected, and now the Dark Templars are just going to go to town. Spore Crawlers are trying to build behind this, and in fact, Idra surrounded that 1 Dark Templar, but we've got 1 Dark Templar in every base, and that's a lot of Zerglings that are going to get lost. The first Dark Templar does go down, but we still have 1 at the main. We also have 1 at the natural. Now, the Spore Crawler is in place at the natural, so this Dark Templar is going to go down after killing 9 drones. And this Dark Templar at the main is still alive, able to chop down that Spore Crawler. The drones have been ordered to retreat, and with that Overseer, finally, that Dark Templar will be destroyed. But losing a lot of drones is Idra, so that's not a very good deal for Idra. He's lost 14 workers up to this point. And we've got Immortals on the way, as well as additional sentries for Raistlin. And he's also set up his 3rd Nexus. So now we've got 3-on-3 bases. And obviously, as a Zerg player, generally you want to be up 1 base on your opponent. So if Raistlin is able to defend this base and stop Idra from getting a 4th, this game will be really in Raistlin's favor. Now, we do have a counterattack from Idra being set up here. He's in between the natural and the 3rd base of Raistlin. We've got a whole bunch of roaches and Zerglings. And only a lone mothership core. This 3rd base might have a lot of problems. Now, the force fields do go down. Great force fields, able to cut off the army in half. And now half the army is forced to engage the 3rd base with that photon cannon and the Nexus cannon already activated. So a few roaches and Zerglings are going to go down. But Idra didn't lose that many units in that attack. Now, Idra says, "You're so skilled." Now, I hate to be a dork here, but "your" is missing that apostrophe. So, Idra's not very happy here. Now, but Idra's still in a pretty good position. He's still up by 40 supply. Now, granted, roaches are very cheap for 2 supply, so maybe this supply advantage is not as large as it appears. But Idra is definitely still in this game. Force fields are going down again. The Stalkers are taking a lot of damage here, but the force fields have cut off the army once again. So Raistlin is able to destroy some free units. But Idra looks like he's going to be destroying this pylon in the front. Now, more force fields are going down. Catches a few more roaches, and those Immortals are able to finish those roaches very, very quickly, especially with +2 attack. 60 damage to armored units. Look at this Immortal. 9 kills. And I'm not sure if Idra should be constantly building more roaches here, because roaches don't do very well against Immortals. We have more Immortals on the way from Raistlin. if Raistlin is able to buffer the Immortals. Now, this confrontation might not be that good. 2 Immortals are in the front, but with the force fields, the concave is much better for Raistlin because the Stalkers and Immortals have more range than the Roaches. Huge confrontation here. The Zerglings are behind the Roaches, so not great positioning. Force fields do finally fade. A few more do go up, and Idra is able to finally get a better concave around Raistlin's units, but Idra's supply is dropping heavily. And now the Stalkers are going for the forward blink, and, well, Idra was defeated, and Raistlin is victorious, but I really thought Idra was still in that game. I mean, if you take a look at the supply, he's going to lose these Roaches, and he's got 10 more on the way, and the supply's probably going to be pretty even after this confrontation. And as a Zerg player, you want to have more supply than your non-Zerg opponents, but I still think Idra had a chance to come back in this game. He did have a macro hatch, and if he set up a 4th hatchery or something like that, he could definitely still be in the game. And unfortunately, he's not going to be, as he loses the game to Raistlin. So once again, like I said at the beginning, I'm 99% confident Idra did not upload this replay. I'm willing to wager it was Raistlin, and of course, players like to generally show the games where they do well. So hats off to Raistlin. I'm really curious if Idra has ever played Raistlin before or after this replay and won, and if so, will we ever see those replays? Probably not. Anyways, good game by both players and a classic Idra at the end, and I hope to see you guys next time.